air coming out of number 3 here. Hear that? Hey everybody, welcome back to Ogre Speed Shop. So this is kind of from the future for the intro. You saw there in that clip that, you know, potential problem coming up. So make sure you stick around and watch the whole video and see what's going on with it. And if you can, do me a favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. And it doesn't cost you a dime, and it really helps out the channel. So let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so I've been playing around with the PTO on this thing, and I've discovered a few things. Okay, first of all, let's go back here. I got this lever loosened up. This one right here, no, this one right here. This is actually what connected, which isn't right now. It goes across to here, it moves forward, and then right about here, I think. No, it's closer, it's further forward. It's actually past the winch. And it breaks, so it was either cut or broke right around this area, but it's supposed to attach to the PTO down here on this right there, and that was able to pull it forward and back to engage it and disengage it and move it. Needed to go either forward or reverse. So you know, this lever is what takes care of that, and I fixed that too. I ended up tapping it out to a 7/16 over the 3/8 and put a new bolt in there, and it's working to engage and disengage it now. Also noticed the transmission was pretty empty, so I added some gear lube to it, and I really think most of the rattle is gone, or parts. It's part of the throwout bearing is a lot of it, but it's starting to run better and better the more I run it and get it through heat cycles. So overall, it's going to be running pretty good, I think, when I get it, you know, to the point where I'm driving. So one thing I discovered, at least I think, is, okay, so this lever here is what engages and disengages the PTO. This one right here is still kind of attached up there and isn't broken. I think that's for throttle control. And I think this one here was actually attached to the clutch. And the reason why I think this is I was watching Sleeper Dude's newest video, and they picked up a wrecker, and it has a PTO unit and winch almost exactly like the one in here. And they one of their levers was actually controlled the clutch. So I think it's probably gonna be the same thing, because there's 2 cables. They both run up next to, and I just walked into a freaking spider web. But the 2 cables actually run up to the middle of the truck here. So I think the second cable is the clutch control. So that way, because the PTO is engaged by engaging the clutch. So I think that's what it is. I think you can do it all from back here. So, but we'll figure all that out later. But we're getting closer to making this thing work. Well, it actually does work. You know, the PTO engages with the clutch and everything with that lever up there inside the truck. So I know it turns the chain, but I haven't, like, I don't want to turn it too much, because I don't know if that if the winch has fluid in it, or lubricant, or grease, or oil, whatever it takes. So I have to research that a little bit. But yeah, I think one of those levers is the clutch control, one's throttle control, and the other is the engagement and disengagement of the PTO. So we're learning. Well, since it's been raining all day, if you can't hear that, I spent most of the day cleaning up in here to make room to bring the C30 in here, start working on the brakes and other things, so I can do it comfortably on the cement rather than on the dirt out there. But like I said, it's been raining most of the day today, which is nice, keeps it cool. But this is like my last day to work on it for a few days, because my wife's going in for surgery tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking care of her for a few weeks. But I'll still have time to work on stuff when she's sleeping and whatnot and recovering. But yeah, this is what I'm dealing with today, some rain. All right, so we got a little break in the weather here, so I think we're going to try to get this into the shop and over here, so I can start working on it a little bit easier. Out of the weather. funny how even knowing damn well the brakes don't work, you still hit the brakes anyways? Trying to stop? Gotta work. So we only got one battery for each truck, for both trucks, so I gotta switch it out. And there you have it. We got our truck inside, so we can start working on it a little bit easier. And not in the weather. I've been up underneath this thing a few times, and I don't think there's any places left over where, you know, critters could be, except for maybe down the wells there and the heater box, but I'm not going to open that up. So, but yeah, I want to get the PTO working. Brakes, gotta get those, see if we can get those to start working a little bit so we can at least drive it when we need to. So that's the plan. It's inside now, and we can get a lot more done now that it's in here. Finally, I put it in the truck, and I did forget about one place where nesting would be optimal. And that's inside the K-member here. You can definitely see a bunch of stuff in there. So to get that cleaned out, make sure there's nothing living in there. And just a bunch of weeds and, you know, spider webs and everything all over the place on this thing. But I think I'm going to pull the wheels off, take a look at the brakes, look at the master cylinder. You know, because I noticed it's missing one of the clips, but maybe it'll come off. I don't know. But we will check it all out since we got it in the shop now. There's a PTO. Pretty cool. So I think I figured out the throttle control for the PTO. If you look right here, this little cable right here with a little chain on it and a hook. So we're gonna go control it from the back. So y'all watch right here. And watch me control the throttle. I don't know what this wire is for. It goes towards the back too, so it's bigger. But anyways. Sounds like it's throttling up. And I know for a fact it ain't the clutch one, because the clutch one is has stuck, isn't it? Yep. Don't want that to happen too much. Flutter out. But anyways, that does control. And one lever back here does control that. So now we know this is the PTO. Well, that's your clutch. Zoom out of here. So that's the clutch. That's the throttle, and this is the engagement. So you just watch this one work. So here's the cable I pulled out that's broken, that was for the clutch portion of the PTO. This tube right here is in there. That's a wire run that was just hanging down. But definitely gonna be finding a lot of repairs that need to be done on this, but I knew what I was getting into from the get-go. It's just the way it is with these old trucks. What kind of mess we're dealing with the master cylinder here. Yep. No way, there's actually fluid in the front. Huh. A little dark. There's actually some in there. Nothing in the back. For some reason the backs always bleed down, don't they? Well, let's put some in there and see if it'll pump up on the front at least. Oh, it's actually bubbling. Yeah, it's bubbling, but I don't think it's going anywhere. Yeah, I ain't gonna do nothing. All right, so I started working on the brakes, just getting the wheels off, cleaning areas up. Tried popping the bleeder, and of course nothing came out of it, because I'm sure these hoses are completely stopped up. And not to mention, I'm sure the wheel cylinders are completely shot. But this one spins real freely. Whereas this one, it sticks a little bit. So one's stuck completely open, this one's stuck partially shut, or partially compressed, open, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna try to loosen this one up so we can get the brake off, the drum off, and then we'll work our way around on that. So one thing that is kind of convenient with these, you see that hole right there? So you can adjust the adjusters out, and you basically use a spoon like this, a brake spoon, and you can go in there and, well, it'll be underneath, you know, the adjuster's below, but you can spin that around and look in there, and you actually get to the adjuster through that, which is kind of cool. I like it from the front. A lot of them, most of them have them from the back, but there's one in the front here, which is kind of nice. So that's what we're gonna do. But in order to get this off here, we have to take the axle, everything off of here. So that'll be fun. So the likelihood of this actually being able to adjust, pretty slim. There's probably all kinds of rusted up and whatnot, but if we can get it to back off a little bit, maybe we can loosen it up to make it easier to get our hub off. I need some to push on the lever. Some right there. This is one of those things you need 3 hands for. All right, now let's see if it's frozen up or not. Yeah, it's pretty frozen. Yep. That ain't loosening up like that. Do we have some WD-40 or something? See if we can spray into those. Ouch! Oh, that hurt. Oh, I just hit my freaking ribs on the chair leg. That didn't feel good. Yeah, I can see this. I was in town earlier. I should have got more PB Blaster, but oh, I forgot. All right, let's try that. First, let's try going. Let's try tightening it. Yeah, it's locked up. That's gonna come off. I have to force it off. Kind of expecting no less than that. I need a big ass socket to get that thing off there, and I don't have one. It's either like 1 7/8, 1 15/16, 2 inch, something like that. And all I got up to is I got 1 5/8 over here, which ain't big enough. I've got 2 3/8 somewhere over here. Got that one. And I got up to 1.5 inches in a set from Harbor Freight. But so yeah, so guess I'm working on big truck stuff now. So I need some new tools. Well, I went into town trying to find a socket to fit on this thing, but nobody had one in stock. Well, I thought it was 2 inches. Measured like 1 7/8 to 2 inches, but I didn't know exactly what size. Got a 2-inch 12 point. It doesn't even come close, but I put a jack underneath the wheel and used the big old channel locks and got it loose. So it's a good start anyways. Now I can take this in with me and get it get the right measurement and get the right size. So now we can get in there and get that the rest of the stuff out. I know I got that size. All right, so I got the spindle nut off. Took the cotter pin out and everything. What did I do with the? Cut the cap off. I think I told you that already. I used the jack and the channel locks. So now we're gonna see if we can get this thing off here. Break free of the brake shoes because they're sticking. Get the bearing out first. So yeah, there's the cap. Screws on. Pretty cool. I like that. It's a lot better than the ones you got pound on that always get destroyed. There's the washer and the outer bearing. They actually feel really good. Well, the fun part is trying to get getting this out past the brake shoes. That was one nice thing about the GMC, the 70 GMC 2500, is the rotors separate. You can take, you can take the shoes off, not the shoes, this thing, the drum. Take the drum off without having to worry about taking the whole spindle off or the whole hub off. And she's stuck. one first. That wasn't fun. Oh yeah, those weren't going to work. Imagine that. Cool. One side off. Hoses and this would probably make brakes work. Well, we got the brake line to break free, and it's spinning freely. It's not stuck on there. So far, all the trucks I've got here in Oklahoma, most of the stuff hasn't been too rusty. So they don't put a lot of salt on the roads around here. I've noticed they do put some. Drove through some last winter when I went to town in the Lexus, but it wasn't too bad. And it's not very often, so now we'll see if the fluid from the master cylinder starts leaking down here. All right, so that's off, and I'd say it probably is because it feels like my fingers got wet. All right, so let me get that hose off there, and it's dripping right now. So yeah, it's all draining from the master cylinder. All right, so we got the hose off. I had to cut it so I could get it off the master cylinder or the wheel cylinder. Yeah, these wheel cylinders are toasty. Ironically, the exact same ones that are on the 2500. So, because I just got a new discount code from Rock Auto, because that's probably where I'll order them from again. So, get a couple of front ones coming. Now the shoes are almost good enough to use, but they got kind of bent from me trying to pull this off. And the drum, let's see what the drum looks like. Those are the screws for the, I don't want to lose those wherever the other one went. Where'd it go? Oh, right there. So those are the screws that hold the wheel cylinders in. Oh yeah, those are, that's why it was stuck. There's a huge lip on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's like an 1/8 inch thick. So I'm going to have to see about drums too for this. Just easy enough because it's just unbolt the hub, or this extension hub off, and you're good to go. So I got to pull the other side off. I'm going to see about getting a socket for that before I do that. So I might wait till tomorrow for this side. But on that, we can actually start. What else we got to do? Oh, I want to pull this exhaust pipe, the down pipe, off of here. I'm gonna pull that off because I got this lever thing here. I want to make sure it's not what's causing it to flutter and make noise. That might be a flapper valve that is supposed to do something, but it just flaps and it gets stuck in whatever position it wants to. So I might take a look at that while we're under here. I gotta do some cleanup first because every time I hit with a hammer or unbolt something, the dirt just starts falling off of there. Plus I've been scraping at it to get to the bolts and the fasteners that I need to, so. Yep, that's what you expect from a truck that's been sitting in the field for 20 years. So this right here is exactly what I was talking about. If you look up in there, I'm gonna get this flashlight to stay so you can see. So this is a flap I was telling you about. So is that closing it off? Making it so it can't breathe, or what is that thing doing? So I'm gonna figure out a way of getting that out of there. I have to remove the, oh, it looks like it's got a bolt. Oh no, that's just a What is that? Does it go? Are you closing off the exhaust? What the heck are we doing with this thing? I guess that's open right there, so I don't know what the point of closing it off would be. But it looks like it's open because the exhaust is going this way and that way through that tube, so looks like as long as it's like that, it should be fine. But why is it there? What does that do? And why can't I find it now? So if it's like that, then what? Where does that go? Is it like an engine brake? Interesting. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that. I don't think I mentioned it before, what engine this is in this truck. So this is an inline six. It's a 250 inline six. And the way you can tell, there's a couple different things that vary from a 250 and a 292 that would be available in this truck. And the first thing is the covers right here. On a 250, they're about 4 inches tall. On a 292, apparently they're like 6 inches tall. I don't have one here to compare to. But one of the other big things is the fuel pump on a 292 is actually behind the water or the motor mount. And the last thing is, well, I don't know if it's the last thing or not, but there's a coolant bypass that goes from the water pump to the thermostat housing on a 292. So you can check the pictures out online. I don't have any pictures available of the 292, but pretty sure this is a 250, the smaller one, which is fine. They're torquey little motors, and when it's geared properly, it doesn't really matter. It'll tow anything. So just wanted to share that before I went any further, just because I don't think I've mentioned it since I got it. Maybe that other pole truck at the place, if I go back there, maybe it has a 292. We can compare it that way, but we'll see. All right, so we got this wheel completely torn down. Just gotta order some parts for the front brakes. I think all the hardware's still gonna be good. And I got the adjuster freed up and lubricated, so that's good to go when it's time. I still need to get a socket to fit these caps. I don't wanna use the channel locks again. Got the wheels off the rear to start checking out those brakes. These are a lot different than taking it off because you have to pull the axle out and pull the whole hub off. So that's going to be a task in and of itself. But I did discover that the parking brake actually works. So I lubed up the pedal up here a little bit. The handle still sticks. It doesn't spring back. So I think the spring is either broken or missing on it. But it does. Oops. But it does actually work and lock the rear brakes. So I could actually drive it that way if I really needed to, but we'll get the brakes working. That way I can drive it legitimately and not have to worry about using the parking brake. So I think the next thing we're gonna do, I don't know yet. Gotta do exhaust. I need to get some different caps to cap the fluid because it's all leaked out now. I'm sure it's all gone by now. Maybe just let it leak out. Yeah, it's all gone in the front there. So, but yeah. So I think once we get the brake parts, it'll be easy to get together and make it work. So don't technically need the rears as long as we get the fronts, but we'll check it out because it seems like it might just need a wheel cylinder. Replace the wheel cylinder, it might just take care. God, I can't talk today. Might just take care of the rear brakes. We'll see. But we gotta get those hubs off of there, and that's like I said, that's a big task because you have to pull the axle, unbolt the hub, pull everything off, kind of like the front, but even bigger and heavier. So fun times. One of the other things I definitely want to do is get like an exhaust with a muffler on it so I can hear what the engine's doing better up here. Because with no exhaust on, even the old muffler and then just the straight pipe like that off of it. I took it off from up here just to check out that flap, this thing right here, make sure it wasn't causing any issues with it running. But yeah, we're gonna do some kind of exhaust to quiet it down. That way we can get in here and actually hear what the engine's doing. Make sure that, that knocking I'm hearing isn't actually coming. I don't think it is because it sounds like it's coming from back here more in the transmission. And the transmission was low on fluid too. So I don't know yet. We got a lot to look at on this thing. pretty much guaranteed the engine ain't gonna stay because I don't want to keep a straight 6 in here. I want to go something bigger, obviously, but we'll decide that later on when the time comes. So that's what we're gonna do with that exhaust. We're gonna get just a muffler to quiet it down so we can actually hear what the engine's doing. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this axle out and start pulling that hub off so we can see what we need for the rear brakes. And I didn't bring my tools. Brought the socket, but I didn't bring the impact. Get it. This just in case we get some drippage from the axle tube. Use those. Some big bolts, 7/16. This is a 10.5 14 bolt, so it's the ideal differential people want. So definitely a good choice for a 1-ton. Look at that, it's already dripping gear fluid, gear lube, gear oil. Even if you just give a quick little tap on the end, it'll pop it off the axle tube. And call me a liar. Helps to take all the bolts out. Is that all of them? It is. Now the technique should work perfect. Simple as that. So this is a full floater. Just like a Dana 60 or Dana 70. I think a Dana 70 is a full floater as well. Big splines. The retainer, oh there it is. Is that a tab right there? Yeah, there's a tab right there that holds the retainer in. So these are all a little bit different. I don't know how much of this you can see or not, but there's a tab right here that needs to be bent out to release this retainer ring. That just keeps it from spinning. I should be able to spin off there now. Yep, pretty easy. Just like that. There's another tab over here too. I think there might be 4 of them. So where it lines up the best is where you use it. I guess I'm gonna put this in. There we go, parts. All right, so the first retainer comes out. There's that. And that little retainer thing should just come out, or not. Yeah, there we go. There's more than 4 tabs. There's like 10. Look at that. How many other? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. So that's what retains that retainer. So now you got one more retainer ring in there. I don't think it's held in by anything. Nope. I don't remember what this came out of. But the right one? No, it's not. Well, maybe. All it needs to do is get one tab on there to get screwed off. Could just use a screwdriver, I'm sure. We'll spin it out. I'll use a screwdriver again. They do make sockets specific for these nuts. So they are. It's a retaining nut, technically. Okay, so that's number 2. Alright, so now there's going to be a bearing in there and then a rear bearing, but this whole assembly should come off now. So this whole hub assembly should be able to come off now as long as the brakes aren't locked up on it or stopping it from coming out. I'm going to get down the ground here. See if we can get this thing to come loose. I'm going to put my gloves back on because I know I'm going to smash my finger and this will at least reduce the amount. thought the stupid brakes are locked up on it. Get behind it and back off the adjuster or not. I don't know. That thing is not moving. What if I get the bearing out and move it around? Let me get a magnet. Let me see, I thought I had it here. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get back in there and try to adjust it out. Oh boy. Hopefully the jack stand's not in the way of me doing that. Alright, I'll be back if I figure that out. Alright, I was actually able to back that adjuster off. And was pleasantly surprised that all of a sudden it popped loose. This is going to be heavy. I need to get better grip. Oh shit. Yummy. Oh, that was way up inside there, no wonder. How are you supposed to disable that right there? Let me get a light in here. You're supposed to push this in through that when a little tiny hole down there. Doesn't make any sense. You see that lever? That's what actually stops it. But I was able to actually get it back down a little bit. And yeah, we need everything back here too. Got spiders living in there. But seal looks like it's been sealing. I don't see any leaks from that. So that's good. So hopefully all this stuff is good. Get all that dirt out of there. It's a lot of dirt. Look at that. Oh boy. Well, that's one. So, all right, got the wheel cylinder out. You can just, if you need to, you can just replace the wheel cylinders. I'm gonna replace everything on this, the shoes and the drums as well, because they're pretty thin, so I might as well do it now. But let's see just how crusty this one turned out to be. Oh yeah. That's nasty. Yep, that wasn't gonna be working. So I have to add these to my cart as well, and we'll see what 13-inch drums cost. And maybe we can get all these brakes done this round. So another thing you might do, and I did this already, take pictures. Everybody's got a camera on them at almost all times now, so take pictures of the drums so you know exactly how they go back together. You know, once you do a few of them, you can probably remember and figure it out, but it's always a good idea, and always do one side at a time. So if you don't have pictures, you can refer to the other side and just do a mirror image of it. All right, so while we're waiting on brake parts, especially these drums are 150 bucks at Rock Auto. So I can only imagine what they are anywhere else. But what I want to do is, we got the exhaust here, and I stopped by my favorite Car Quest in Elk City. It's Yow Auto Parts, and picked up this muffler. They don't usually carry them, but somebody had ordered it and never picked it up. So they gave me a really good deal on it. So I got that, some 2-inch piping, some adapters and whatnot. We're gonna put an exhaust on this thing, so that way, because I haven't been able to actually hear what the motor's doing or the engine's doing yet. So I want to be able to hear it, and the only way I can do that is to put an exhaust on it. So we're gonna do that. You know, it's gonna be a semi-temporary exhaust, I guess. But so yeah, we're gonna do that right now, so we can start playing around with the engine to see if we have any lift or noise, or because we got that one, like, it almost sounds like it's puffing out of the intake, so we might have a stuck intake valve. But I want to make sure. So, that's what I forgot to get. I should have got vacuum caps while I was in there. But anyways, that's not a big deal. I can deal without that. But anyways, now I'm rambling. But anyways, we're gonna get this thing, put some exhaust on it, so it quiets it down, so I can hear what the rest of the truck is doing. So let's get into it. So I just tacked this piece on here for the expander. I'm not reducing, I'm actually expanding, because the muffler I got to 2.25. This is less than 2 inches, like 1 7/8. So I went from 2" to 2¼ I think it's 2¼ something like that. And then I'm gonna put that pipe in there. So the pipe I got to figure out how long we gotta go. I'm just gonna tack everything together. It shouldn't matter because it's flowing that way. So it shouldn't blow out, but you know, it could have some back pressure from the muffler once we get it on there. But this is so thin, like I barely even welded it and it burned through on one area. So we'll just tack it on for now. I just need to quiet it down so we can hear the engine. All right, so I got the exhaust up in there just kind of temporarily. You can see that's what we got so far. I just gotta weld it. But I wanna see if I can figure out what it's gonna sound like. So let's try that out. A lot quieter. So that rattling noise is no doubt the throwout bearing. Out of adjustment. But check this out. Push the clutch in, the rattle goes away. Even giving it RPMs, it goes away. So I think it's just the throwout bearing. Yep. That makes me feel good. This thing should run pretty good then. Oil light went out, so we got good oil pressure. Definitely needs some tuning, but I mean, I didn't like rebuild the carburetor. It just cleaned it up. But she's sitting here idling. You hear a little whoop, 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 whoop. Maybe a little tick, so probably either have an exhaust leak or maybe we need some valve adjustment. Now we can hear it. So I was editing that last segment and I noticed something. And I know I highlighted in the edit, but we got a leak down here someplace. So let's fire back up. See if we can get a better idea if it's coming from the donut. By feeling around, I need a stool though. This thing's too tall even for me, I'm 6'5". So let's fire it up, see what we see. And that might be where the exhaust leak is coming from. It needs to be dark, I don't know. I don't see nothing anymore and I don't hear nothing. I don't know. I don't see any smoking gun. See some water leaking now. Oh, it's just leaking out of the overflow. Yeah, the cooling system ain't working too good. It's up to like 200 and some degrees right now. Looks like it's about 210 degrees. And the thermostat is not open. That's the original thermostat was in here. And so we gotta check that out. But I don't know, I gotta look at the video and see if it shows anything different. But definitely saw smoke in that last segment, so I don't know. Running pretty good though, overall. Except for it's obviously not opening the thermostat because that radiator hose is cold. The temperature is 210, so. But add it to the list of things, and the valve cover is definitely leaking. Yep. Right, so okay. Couldn't find a leak at the collector, so I'm assuming that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld up the, at least tack the welds together on the rest of the exhaust. And I'll pull the whole system out and weld it on the bench or on the ground or over there someplace. So after watching that video, the smoke, and you saw me feeling all around there's no leaks. So what I think it was the PB blaster burning off the exhaust from when I took the exhaust off the first time. So it still has some oil on there that's burning off. So yeah, I don't think it was an exhaust leak. If there is an exhaust leak, it's coming from higher than that. So maybe the manifold. And at some point we'll probably get in here and reseal all that just to be sure. But you see that bolt right there is broken off on the end. I'm sure the one down there might be broken off too, but so yeah, definitely needs some work, but like you can see, we've been sitting in the field for over 20 years. So yeah, not too bad. Let's get the exhaust put back on there. Got it all welded up now. So yeah, it's ugly, but you know what? It's quiet. I can hear everything else now. All right, so what I thought might be an exhaust leak, I think it's actually coming from the throttle body here. So we got a stuck intake valve somewhere. It's causing it to backfire through the carburetor. So either a bent push rod, out of adjustment lifter, or something. So we're definitely gonna be pulling the valve cover next. So y'all wanna see something cool? Check this out. She fires right up. I think I need to do something about the radiator. Just watch what happens when I give it some revs. Fan sucks it in. So yeah, I think I definitely need to mount the top of it a little bit just so it doesn't get sucked up into the fan. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this valve cover off. I got a new valve cover gasket, some other stuff here, some Marble Mystery oil. I'm gonna change out the thermostat. Got a new radiator cap as well, and looked at a water pump. I'm gonna wait on that though. I wanna make sure it's actually what I need, or if it's needed, to make sure it's bad before I go buy that. So we're gonna do all that right now. Get that valve cover off, check all our rockers, lifters, all that good stuff. Maybe we can check the lifters even easier if we wanna get in there. But yeah, for now we're just gonna pull the valve cover off and see what we got. I also ordered intake and exhaust manifold gaskets. It's all one, but those will be in on Tuesday. So we'll be able to pull that off, fix the broken bolt, fix any leaks that might be there as well. What I'm gonna do first though is, I'm 6'5", and yet it's hard for me, because I'm like chest high right now, to even reach stuff on here. So I'm gonna drop it down a little bit now that the wheels are off of it. I can lower the front down a little bit, make it easier to work on it. Oh yeah, that's much better, a lot easier to get to. Well, something I just realized is since we got this thing running, I haven't pulled the plugs yet to see what they look like. And I figure if we pull the plugs, we might as well do a compression test on it to see how, make sure everything's healthy in there. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't know, I don't see anything bad about them. So that's number 6. 5, 4, well, 3's a little dark. 2's a little dark. and 1. So 2 and 3 is a little bit off. So let's go get the compressor tester out and test them. See what these things are doing. Got the trigger hooked up so that way it's real easy, and I got the throttle or the carburetor open so we get full air in. Make sure we're centered in the camera. Well, we got 60 on the first one. It's a little low in my opinion. Number 2. Oh, look at that. Make sure that's on there tight. Yes, it is. All right, so number 2 is definitely low. 2 and 3 were the 2 that had the black electrodes or straps, so maybe that's one of the problems. Number 3. Nope. So 2 and 3 are definitely low. See what number 4 is. That's what we're looking for. All right, up to 150. That's compression right there. All right, so number 4 was awesome. Let's try number 5. Helps to not hold the button down. It's about 120. All right, so number 6. All right, so the back 3 are awesome. So we got to take a look at what's going on with the front 3. Hopefully it's just a stuck valve, not a head gasket. If it is, I mean, it's not like we don't have room in here to get to it. Let's just hope it's not a piston. All right, so we know 1, 2, and 3 are low. 1's 60, the other 2 are barely reading. So let's hope it's stuck valves, or, I mean, I'd take a blown head gasket at this point. It'd be fine. So let's check it out. Let's pull the valve cover and see what we got. All right, let's get this valve cover off. I pulled the fuel line off, the vacuum advance, which wasn't even hooked up, off, the PCV, and the return for the PCV off, and disconnected the wire back there that's on the little hanger. So it should be pretty easy to get it off the rest of the way. All right, let's see what we got. A very loose valve cover, that's for sure. Well, one thing's for sure, we're definitely getting oil to the top here. They all have oil on them, so that's good. Let's go ahead and crank it over with the valve cover off just to see, make sure they're all moving properly. All right, let's watch them and see what they do. Oh, the fuel, dang it. I think the main ones we need to look at are the are 2 and 3. Right. That's kind of telling me, unfortunately, you probably have a head gasket issue. So those are all definitely working. All right, so I guess we're doing a leak down test. All right, so what is a leak down tester? It's a set of gauges right here. What you do is you inject air into it, into the cylinder. So it's going to pump air into the cylinder, and you just got to rotate the engine around to make sure that the valves are closed on the cylinder you're testing. So we're testing number 2 starting out. Go ahead and put air into it, and this will determine where it's leaking from. If it's leaking, if it starts spewing out of the carburetor, then we know it's an intake valve. If it's going out the exhaust, we know it's an exhaust valve. If it's coming out another cylinder, then we know it's the head gasket. So, and it can also, I think if it's the rings on the pistons, you'll hear it through the oil. So, or at the oil pan. So let's get air to it and see what happens. All right, so we go ahead and increase air pressure into it. Put 70 psi in it. Now we got to listen for leaks. I'm going to turn the fan off so we can actually hear it. Let me get my stethoscope too. See, it's definitely leaking somewhere because these gauges should be equalized. not coming out of the throttle. Check number 3. There it is. It's leaking out of number 3. My air compressor is really small, so it's going to be quick. Looks like we got a blown head gasket. It's leaking out of 1 and 2 right now. So that tells me that we got a blown head gasket. So that's actually not a bad thing. Also explain why it heated up so quick and why the coolant was bubbling. So, all right, that's kind of a smoking gun. We got air coming out of number 3 here. Hear that? And air coming out of number 1. Not as bad. So there's a break in the head gasket between 1, 2, and 3. So guess we're pulling the head. At least it's easy on this thing, except for the weight of it. But I'll use the engine hoist to pull it out of here. But now we know. Well, and there you have it. So we have a blown head gasket, almost certainly. And hopefully it's nothing worse than that, like a cracked head or a cracked block. Good thing is these old straight 6s are pretty bulletproof, hopefully. You know, I don't want to jinx it, so let me find some wood to knock on, which I don't have a whole lot around here. But anyways, I'll knock on wood that there's nothing cracked, and it's just a head gasket. Got the parts ordered. They won't be in until next week, so we're gonna go ahead and finish this video right here. So on that note, this, you know, not a big deal. The gasket kit, complete gasket kit that includes everything, including the intake, an exhaust manifold, new valve seals, everything. Only $100, so I got that ordered coming. And so yeah, it won't be a big deal to get the head gasket replaced. And hopefully when we have the head off there, we don't find any cracks in the head or in the block. We'll check it for squareness. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know how long it would have been run like that. I never overheated it. Doesn't mean it wasn't overheated 20 years ago in its parts. But anyways, like this video, leave a like down there, leave me a comment, let me know what I can do better, and subscribe while you're at it. Why not? It's free. And for everybody who's been here this long, appreciate you being here. So until next time, I will see y'all later.